Merry Christmas, everybody! I hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful day. And if you've decided to take some time to watch this video, then thank you from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Now, Jon Favreau's Elf from 2003 is considered by many to be one of the best Christmas movies of all time. It's absolutely hilarious and manages to recapture the magic of older Christmas classics by modeling the North Pole on the Rankin and Bass cartoons, and even casting Ralphie from A Christmas Story to play one of the elves. However, the production of this movie went on for a long time, and nearly didn't get made at all. However, there was a point in time, nearly 10 years before it actually came out, where we might have seen comedic legend Jim Carrey as Buddy the Elf. So, what if it happened? Elf tells the story of a small baby named Buddy who sneaks into Santa Claus's sack of toys on Christmas Eve. He's raised to the North Pole as an elf until he's in his 30s, and his adoptive father decides to tell him the truth of his parentage. Buddy decides to travel to New York City and try to reunite with his birth father, and also ends up restoring many people's faith in Christmas along the way. While this movie absolutely and undeniably made both Jon Favreau and Will Ferrell's careers, Ferrell was by no means the first choice for Buddy the Elf. Initially, when the movie was in the development stages in the early 90s, Jim Carrey would be the one tapped to star in Elf. Whether Carrey was actually interested or not is unknown, but it's definitely understandable to me why Carrey was who they wanted. He was nothing short of a comedy god in the 90s, having hit after hit after hit, with movies like The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and Liar Liar, just to name a few. Carrey would go on to star in future Christmas movies such as A Christmas Carol and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, though it's rumored that the main reason he passed on Elf was the long development process that it went through, taking years and years to get made. Years that Carrey was seemingly not willing to wait for, if the rumors are to be believed. Now, admittedly, this version of Elf would have apparently been significantly different. The homages to Rankin and Bass Christmas specials wouldn't have been in it at all. It would have featured far raunchier comedy and been rated PG-13 instead of PG. In fact, when it was still PG-13, Jon Favreau actually passed on this movie because the project just didn't appeal to him. So if Jim Carrey had been Buddy the Elf, then I don't think Jon Favreau would have directed it. And as a result, I do think there's a chance that it might not have been as funny, but this is also in combination with another thing I want to talk about. And this is just my opinion, but Jim Carrey does have a bad tendency to take his performances too far, in my opinion. I think that Will Ferrell knew when to tone down his performance and let the emotional aspects kick in, because let's be honest, this is a premise that could really come off as annoying in the wrong actor's hands. And I'm not by any means saying that Jim Carrey is anything other than a phenomenal actor. I just don't know if he would have been his natural fit. Like, I think he just would have taken some scenes too far. Like, Will Ferrell would do Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? And it would be, natural and funny. But I think Jim Carrey would be like, I'm Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color, good sir? I just think he would take it a little too far, I'm sorry to say. Like, okay, consider this scene in the original Grinch cartoon compared to a scene in the Grinch movie with Jim Carrey.
In Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And then the true meaning of Christmas came through, and the Grinch found the strength of 10 Grinches, plus 2.
So yeah, I am a Jim Carrey fan. I'm by no means trying to bash the guy. I've seen him give absolutely incredible performances in movies before, like especially in The Truman Show. But I'm sorry, I think that he's too big for a movie like this. I think he would just take the movie to places that I don't think it should go. I think that this version of the movie it probably wouldn't have been as good. It would have had a different director. It would have probably had different actors because it was a different time period. And this is a premise that I think would be so easy to get wrong. Like, according to my mom, so many people thought this movie was going to suck when it was about to come out. Because admittedly, the premise on paper sounds ridiculous. ridiculous. And it would be so easy to get a movie like this wrong. And again, I'm not trying to bash Jim Carrey because I know he can do good, but I can't help but, feel like maybe he's wrong for this one. I just think that he would be too big and boisterous. He wouldn't know when to tone it down. I mean, that's just based on some past performances, like especially in movies like The Grinch and Batman Forever. Oh man, like I'm sorry, but like he was way too boisterous in those roles. Like there were scenes that he needed to be quieter and he just wasn't. And while I'm not like against Carrey being boisterous, I just think that he has a tendency to let it go on too long, and it causes the scene to kind of lose its emotional heft. Not to mention, I just think that style of comedy would make Buddy a very forced character. Like, a character that I just can't imagine, a lot of other people wanting to be anywhere near for long periods of time. Because, like, Will Ferrell's version has charm. Like, he knows when to talk normally and when to be a bit more boisterous. But Jim Carrey's the kind of guy that's going to be boisterous like 90% of the movie. And I just can't help but feel like it would be wrong. I'm sorry. But, who knows? Maybe in an alternate timeline, Elf came out in the mid-90s, it starred Jim Carrey, and is now regarded as an even better Christmas classic than the one in our timeline. Who knows? It's just, in my opinion, it doesn't sound like a good fit. Like, okay, I can imagine Jim Carrey playing a good Buddy the Elf if he toned it down. Like, if he toned it down, he'd be a great fit for Buddy. I can't, escape this feeling that he wouldn't do that. Because this was 90s Jim Carrey, and he did that a lot in the 90s and the early 2000s, so I really don't know. Also, if this movie was going to be raunchier, I think that also would have taken away from it a little bit. I think it would have made it a little too adult. Like, I think the thing that I like about Elf the most is that it makes kids and adults happy. Because, like, adults who grew up with, like, the Rankin and Bass stuff, will feel nostalgic for it. And the kids will, of course, love everything about Elf. I certainly did. I watched this movie endlessly when I was a kid. And I just feel like making a Jim Carrey vehicle and having it be PG-13 and raunchier comedy, I just can't help but feel it would really lessen the market. Like, I really feel like it would shrink the audience. I can't help but get that feeling about it just a little bit. But either way, guys, let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with me. If you disagree with me, then I completely understand. I know Jim Carrey's fans are very, very ardent. And I'm with you guys. I really do like Jim Carrey, I promise. I know I'm making it sound like I don't like his style of humor. I do. It's just sometimes I think he takes things a little farther than he needs to. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, if you disagree with me, make sure to tell me all bad in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on my new Instagram account, Rinzler_Productions, and share this video with all of your friends on all your various social media platforms. Give me more what if recommendations in the comments down below, and have yourselves a very, very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Goodbye.